guys, so this is going to be another video on taking notes and how to study and making a study guide. In my first video, I know the quality wasn't that great. You couldn't see things very clearly, and I was just overwhelmed by the response I got from making that video. I got so many views and a lot of questions, a lot of requests, so I'm doing a more in-depth video here on how to make study guides. Now's the perfect time because I am studying for midterms right now. First of all, with classes, sometimes you don't want to be writing your notes because sometimes a lot of teachers just have so much notes for you to take, and their notes are like on a PowerPoint presentation, so sometimes you can't really keep up. So that's kind of what happened to me. Here's like my first set of notes from the beginning of the semester, and it was just too much writing and took up too much time trying to catch up with her PowerPoint slides. So instead of writing, I'm going to show you how I took her PowerPoint slides and made them into a note format. Let me show you real quick. If you didn't know, I'll show you how to do it, but this is just how the outcome of it. This is just a couple pages here. Yeah, it's just her PowerPoint slides. It was so much easier for me to just print it out rather than writing, and I printed it back and forth to save paper, and also added columns, kind of split it into just so that it takes up less paper and pages. So that is that, and I also 3-hole punched them and I put them in my binder under which subjects it's under. So I'm going to show you the trick on how I do this on my computer. If you were to open a PowerPoint presentation, say one that your teacher sent you, and you don't want to print all these slides individually, you don't need the diagrams or the fancy colors and everything that like comes with the slides. A trick that I use is I go to outline, and it just shows me all of the text instead of the pictures and such. So I'm just gonna open a new text document just to have that ready, and I'm going to just just select all, copy, and then I'm gonna go to this untitled and paste. And as you can see, it comes out to about 15 pages. So I'm going to select all again. I'm just going to pick a basic font and choose a size. 12 is pretty good. And then just make it all formatted to the same color and all those things. And as you can see, it went to 12 pages. And you can also put it to one space instead of double space. I just made it so there's not so many lines between each thing. 2-page view, and just check that there's no really big gaps. 3 pages instead of, what was it, 15. Go to format, and you can format the page to be in columns. So I'm gonna add 2 columns, kind of put the width a little bit apart, just okay, and that changed it to 2 pages. So now everything is nicely put. You can add bullets if you'd like, just highlighting a section, adding bullets, or not, depending on how you want. You can just format it the way you want. You can underline things, you can bold things that you think are important. I like to bullet things. About 15 pages to really just 1 page, because this is 2 pages and I just print it back and forth. If you're taking entry-level classes such as 100 classes, there's a lot of terminology and pretty much vocabulary. So that is something that's kind of hard for people to remember so much. So for one of my study guides here, this is my sociology study guide. It has a lot of key terms and a lot of people that you have to remember. So this is that study guide here. Everything all in one format, all the same fonts, all the same font size. Create some tables if you're comparing and contrasting something. That's what I like to do, make a table. Organize them by chapters. So here I have the different chapters. You can clearly see where the next chapter starts. And then for key ideas, I have them highlighted in a different color, so green. And then for definitions, I have them in pink, so I can definitely see from my notes that this is from chapter 7. This is some key terms I need to know, and then the yellow is just highlighting the main points of that key term. And then yeah, it just kind of goes through all my notes and I can easily find what I'm looking. So numbers, if you number things, say there's a list, say there's 4 stages, say there's different stages or different levels of something and you just want to number them, that's really good. And then for bullets, just to list things, and then you can have topics and then little subtopics, so you'll just indent it. One of the key things that I do to study is taking a bunch of colorful highlighters, different color pens, and just really highlighting different areas so it's easier for you to find. You don't want to just use one color and highlight everything because then you'll get lost, and just separating things by another really good thing that I found really helpful is to put the page number next to like certain information. So from my textbook, I would write, this is like the person, this is what his theory was, and I can quickly reference it to this page 120, and it goes through all of them. Like, as you can see, I have the different page numbers next to different people, different concepts. I just quickly have the page number right here. So if I need additional information, I can just go into my textbook and quickly find what page that's on just to find more information on it, because you can't fit the whole entire textbook on your study guide. But just to quickly reference it, that's a really good thing to add. As you go through your study guide, go through it with your highlighters as you usually would. Take your time, and as you keep going through it, all the information will slowly sink into your brain because you've gone over it. You remember a certain area of that page where that word was, you know. So just repetitively just go through it. You can go through it with the highlighter first, you go through it with the pen later, go through it before you go to bed, while you're eating. Just, it's really good to just have this one packet to study from, or just to have one, you know, one thing to study instead of referencing tons of notes, going back and forth through your textbook. It's good to have just one thing. So some teachers give you like a checklist or a study guide, or just a list of the main key points you need to know for your test. So I like to print it out, and here's my little checklist that was for this study guide, and I just go through it and I check off as I finish it. I just check off the different definitions, the different concepts, and once I finish taking notes and putting them on my study guide, I check them off. So just going down the list here, I try to separate it by chapter, and then I put all the chapters that this test is on, and then I put down here the name of the chapters just so I can easily reference what that chapter is about. And once this is all checked off, you feel really prepared for the test because you have pretty much everything that your teacher said was going to be on the exam. These are really great to have because when it comes to your final exam, which is probably going to be cumulative. If you're taking like 100 level class, then you'll already have, you know, this done and ready for you. Another reason why it's really good to have a study guide or to make your own study guide is you have this all in one place, and right before the exam you could quickly just take this out, just look at it, glance at it, and just assure yourself that you know everything, and you'll feel really confident instead of being the one that's rustling through all your pages and all your notes, just trying to find, oh, what is that one thing that I don't know. You can really find it quickly. A little need to know list at the top, just so I can reference, do I know all of these things for this one species? And that's just an example. The classes that are entry classes, like 100 level classes, have a textbook, and then towards the end it has things such as little practice, some essay questions, and as you can see here, it just has a lot of key terms down here. So that's really good to just, at the ends of each chapter, just go through the questions and see if you're on the right track. Try to guess the answers and then check later to see if you were correct. This is just your checklist of main concept. Just go through it, make sure you know everything. And also when you're studying, you just put your study guide away where you can't see it, and just go to your list and see if you can kind of, you know, see if you know the answers, or if you can describe the key concepts or know the terminology. This is just really good to just reference to and study from, to just test your mind. So this is really good to have a nice little checklist that doesn't have the answers on it, and see if you really learn stuff from your study guide. That is just my advice. Remember to just study along the way. Try not to miss classes. Pay attention during the lecture. Try to find things that really interest you from what subject that you're learning, and just stay on top of it. Make your study guides, customize it to how you want to study. Try not to cram, but if you do cram, then I think study guides are a great way to study and cram at the same time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys have any more requests on school things, studying, taking notes, taking exams, all that stuff, just leave a request on the bottom and I'll be sure to fulfill them. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.